you say we get into this thing?
Let's fucking do it.
We're making history today.
Oh, buddy.
We're live to somebody, but we're not technically live right now. But we will be one day.
An audience of 3.
It's great.
Well, 4 technically.
There's a lot of animals around. I like it. I think it's a good vibe.
It fits the vibe.
We're a little bit of a barnyard crew.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have someone with us today. Technically, the second longest friend of the podcast. We're going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Glad to hear it. My name is Zach. I'm a long-time listener, first-time guest, first-time caller. Just happy to be here.
You technically our first listener.
Hoping to be the number 1 long-time friend of the show by the end of today.
You're going to have to
kill
beat out
someone.
Chuck's wife.
You will kill someone. You will have to kill someone near and dear to my heart.
I mean, I don't want to do that, but, we'll see if we can get there.
You might just want to, kind of support a divorce. Right? Not
so
quite
maybe
murder.
Today will be step 1 towards an eventual goal.
Yeah,
we'll get there somehow.
He's a man who breeds division.
I'm going to make her hate the podcast.
That's fair. Honestly, if she ends up hating it, then I'll have no choice but to kick her off the island,
See, I have a long-term plan that she ends up joining this enterprise.
Wow.
That's a long-term play.
Long-term play.
Like a third host, or what kind of capacity?
Definitely could. I think there's potential there, but more importantly, we're going to need help with selling merchandise.
She's actually
So
about to start.
the woman's work is to sell the merch.
Well, it's because we're so bad at that. It's not a gender thing here. It's definitely we are not capable of doing that.
Dude, she's
And I have faith in her.
got a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. She's gonna
Absolutely.
start an Etsy and sell some bracelets here soon.
Wow.
And this is why she's going to be the expert who helps us, not
And
starve
then-
to death.
You're gonna use you're gonna use her to transition that to selling your merch.
Something like that. Yeah.
Love a merger.
That'll be
Is
the
this
most confusing Etsy shop ever. Because on one hand it's bracelets, and on the other hand it's semi-offensive T-shirts.
Wait,
It's
tell me
merchandise
about-
for a podcast that no one has listened to.
except for you so far.
Yeah, I will be. It'll be like all normal people buying her bracelets and shit, and then me
With the
buying
t-shirts.
all
With the T-shirt, baby.
Oh, we're gonna have fanny
Deranged
packs. We're gonna have snapbacks. It's gonna be everything that was cool in 2007.
Wow,
And then was cool again in 2015. It'll be good.
perfect.
We're bringing it back.
I want to hear about these bracelets though. Are these like plastic? Are these leather? Do you know? Are they metal?
Dude, don't
Any
make
idea?
me talk about the bracelets.
I want you to talk
I
about
don't want
bracelets.
to. I don't want to speak any ill will on these bracelets.
Why would it?
But,
why would
You got to
it be
talk them up.
illegal?
This is an opportunity. Promote.
So
This is why we are not going to be good at selling things. We
Um,
need your help.
I just walk in the other night and she's making beaded bracelets.
Okay.
And she says she's gonna start an Etsy and sell them. And I didn't ask any further questions, but I was just like, "Yeah, you do you." Like, awesome, sweet.
Aw,
Wow.
So
how supportive.
I didn't really get into the bracelet, supply chain there, but
I think you're hiding more from us. I think you're secretly trying to like destroy the bracelet business.
no.
Will you be her first customer?
I have to be.
You gotta be.
I have to be.
You don't think her sister will be?
Oh, that's such a good point.
You're in competition now because if you're not the first customer, she's gonna hold that over your head forever.
That's true.
Yeah, because then I wouldn't be the first longest friend of the bracelet business.
Right.
See, you got to get in there now before she sets up the Etsy page.
I'm running home right now.
It's like, I think
All right.
you
Well, it
can
was
do
fun to be here. Gotta go. Is this gonna come out, by the way? Like, is this gonna be behind the Patreon, or what's the?
Well, it depends on how long we go, to be quite honest. Because if we do a very good long podcast, then only part of it will be public, and then all of it will be behind Patreon.
Yeah.
But if we keep it relatively short, then again, I think it's gonna be all behind Patreon.
Okay. So I should try to maybe limit the spicy takes.
Oh no, I think you should
Just let it fly.
Oh,
Okay.
let's get into the spice, boys.
I would like to have a job tomorrow.
Well, these people don't know your actual name, so I
That's
think you're
true.
good.
That's true.
Yeah, no last names here.
No, not yet.
But I know you guys like to dox people.
Oh,
wait,
yeah, that
but
is
here's
true.
the thing. Because you've been such a long-term friend, you're safe. You have immunity.
It's good.
Now, your children. There could be a worry.
That's not good.
Because if they decide that they don't like the podcast, I don't know what to do.
Well, that's a down the road problem, so I can deal with that.
Okay,
I can
so
accept that.
I'm loving this. We're getting early brainwashing to get the kids to love it.
Yeah.
We're
So
talking
going well.
17 years in the future, when we all have a social credit score. We're doxing your kids, and they're gonna be fucked.
Dude, I heard today that China's whole population will be cut in half by 2050.
How was that? By what means?
Natural birth rates.
Mm.
The one-child policy has
So all the old
ruined
people are
their
going to die
demographics.
off, and then they're going to be... Huh.
Yep. America, on average, is a significantly younger country than China. And we have a large... Right, so we have the baby boomers, but then we have other large generations that will come after that China didn't get. All of their generations got super small with the one-child policy.
So we just got to hold on for like 30 more years, and then we're
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
And
that's
global warming
assuming-
will probably do the job
That's
by
the
then
thing.
anyway. So
Yep.
we're really
Between
fine.
Supply chains. On top of that, another crazy thing is that demographic prediction does not take into account the fact that China's COVID vaccine just does not work at all.
Oh.
And so like they're all dropping. So it's
Yikes.
crazy right now, man.
Try if you had a social credit score, what do you think it would be?
What's like the top and what's the bottom?
You tell us,
I don't know.
bro.
We can make it up. Like we can say the top is like 1,000 or
Okay.
something.
Okay. Oh, dude, I'm currently running with the devil right now. I'm at like a 400 probably.
400.
Wait, what's the top for if four?
It'd be
400 good or
1,000.
bad?
400 out of
400 out of
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, I'm batting below average right now. But
I mean, it's not terrible.
China doesn't really like their like religious people too much. So I'd probably be thrown in a camp by now.
Well, especially not Christians, right?
No,
I think they have their
definitely
own kind of state-sponsored.
It's true.
approved one.
And then the what's the
Uyghurs?
yeah, the Uyghurs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's kind of rough right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more details about that, but I don't. So, not gonna try.
Anyway, yeah, I feel like people would probably try to get like a score of 420 or 69 or something.
I was just waiting to be asked so I could say it was 69.
And then you're just like, fuck, you can't do anything, but you're like, dude, check out my fucking social
exactly.
credit score.
The police come to arrest you and they're just like, "What's his score? 69. Nice.
Dude,
Nice.
Gets up to 70, you're like, I gotta do some dumb shit right
I gotta
now
go
to get
slap
this
my
back
name
down. I hope the CCTV catches me right now. I gotta get this score down.
You just don't bathe for like 3 weeks.
I'll just pay late on my cable bill and then we'll be back at a 69.
We better hope.
Yeah.
It'll drop you to a 68. Then you have to do a good deed. You have to help an old lady across the street. Dude, it's intense.
Yeah, that's
it's
not
a
what you
tough
want.
game.
I feel like if you have 1,000, like you don't want to be the guy with 1,000, right?
It's kind of lame.
It's lame. It means like you're not doing anything.
You're a puppet of the state. At that
People would
point.
probably hate you because
Yeah.
you're like,
They don't trust you. They definitely do not trust you.
definitely not. Unless there was like an elite, there'd probably be like an elite culture that arises.
Oh, yeah, you'd be
people
in.
like the 900s plus.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But then I feel like there's always that opposite reaction. So it's the under 100s. And you're gonna have the counterculture between the two. And the under 100s are gonna be fucking around, messing up the
That's true.
The 900.
That's
They're
true.
900s.
right. You're
Yeah.
gonna have the people who are like slashing tires.
Yeah.
They're gonna go Fight Club on it. They're gonna be like, we take out your garbage. We do all these things for you. Like, do not fuck with us.
And the next thing you know, your catalytic converters is fucking gone.
They're gone, man. And your Kias and your Hyundais, the 14-year-olds have an app now. They just break into it. It's wild.
This could be the next Hunger Games. We should sit on this idea.
I think we
there's
should
something
pitch it to Apple.
All right, I got a fun story for the pod.
Oh, let's go.
So, me and my wife, the one who's gonna start the bracelet business,
That one.
Yeah, I'll be a
Wait,
stay-at-home
you have two?
dad.
Was there
Thanks for
another that we should be
clarifying.
worried about?
No, second wife.
Hey, no judgment here, man.
Yeah.
You do you.
But we were honeymooning right in down in Florida. We were at this bar because we were like, we just want to like go to a bar for the night. Like, let's find one. So we find one on the beach strip, and we go in, and there's this dude with like a permed mullet there.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
And so I start striking up conversation with him because I'm an Ohio State fan, and he's a Florida fan. So we start talking to Urban Meyer and all that stuff.
How
And,
this was after This was after the incident of Urban Meyer in his own bar.
This was pre-Jacksonville.
Oh, it was pre-Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he got the job leading up to that.
Gotcha.
And so I started talking to him, and he's like, "Hey, you want to hear a story?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so there's this woman named Alison Wuornos
Oh, yeah.
who was like a truck driver, serial killer, like prostitute on the road. She'd get
Like
picked
back
up.
in the day?
Like back in the day.
But relatively recently, she's one of the most successful serial killers to ever live that we know about. It's nuts.
And she's like, I think the first woman to ever be put on death row.
Wow.
And there's a whole movie made about her.
Maybe in like the modern sense. I do know that there was a woman who was hanged as a part of the Lincoln assassination. She actually owned the like hotel that John Wilkes Booth planned it in.
Oh, no shit.
And she knew about it, and like her son was involved, and so she ended up getting hanged with him.
Makes
I
a
mean,
lot
you
of
go
sense.
back far enough, and we were burning witches and
Yeah.
shit.
That
So-
too.
So in terms of modern,
They would
death
probably
row,
take
yeah.
the.
Modernized, Alison Wuornos, death row, all that jazz. But he shows me a picture of him when he was younger, and he's like, I was the attorney who represented her during her case.
No shit.
And so I met the attorney to Alison Wuornos.
That thing is wild. I know I've heard that before, but it's still kind of crazy. You just think about you see a random person, you're just talking to him, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, this man like lived a significant piece of history.
And he was
It's
like,
scary.
he looked like a straight up regular at the bar, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming
Yeah,
he just like spends his nights and days just drinking his pain away, all
Yeah.
that jazz.
Did he say? I wonder how he felt about it. Did he say anything about like what it was like?
He said that, if I remember correctly, he was like kind of eerie about the whole thing, but like just like having to talk to her, he was like, yeah, this girl's a sociopath,
Yeah,
like
damn.
for sure. So
Dude, like, I'm sure that we've all met sociopaths and like legit psychopaths in our lives, but
It could be one in this room.
there could be.
there could be.
Statistically, there's a chance. But can you think of a point in your life where like maybe you're in high school or something, you're just like, no, this kid is a sociopath, like 100%. Have you ever had those moments?
Ooh.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
There was this kid that I grew up with at elementary school, went to the same high school with, and he just got arrested last year on child pornography charges.
Oh,
shit.
And he's going to jail for a long time.
man, that's fucking weird.
But I was like, this dude is like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
What were the signs?
he just was like, he was kind of social outcast, but also too like, the rough thing was people bullied the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But he would like make sounds in class and stuff like that, and he like threaten people with like a mechanical pencil and like, you know, hit the button a few times where the lead comes out. And like the teacher would be like, Michael, stop. And like everybody kind of didn't take him too seriously, but you knew he had like a screw loose,
Yeah.
like to some extent.
Now, hear me out here. Okay, this is going to be very bold to some people because they're soft, but bullying builds character if done correctly.
It's a hot take.
So I'm going to step out on a limb here and say that actually the teachers and administrators at that school
Yeah.
failed that kid by stopping the bullying from going further.
Wow.
And now there's a predator.
That is a very hot take.
Well,
I
you know how
stand
he
by
got.
it.
You know how he got caught, right? He was in Nintendo.
You told- yeah.
He was in Nintendo
Yeah.
Wii chat rooms chatting with
Yes.
little
Nintendo
girls.
Wii chat room.
Yeah,
Like on the Nintendo Wii.
yeah.
Using the Wiimote.
Like playing Super Smash and stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So
Got caught on the Wiimote. That's embarrassing.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, not a good look. And then
That's the more embarrassing part when the cops come in is that you're using a fucking Wiimote.
yeah.
Jesus.
Your little me on the like WeChat channel, like the Wii sounds in the back.
I don't know if this was a part of your guys' childhoods exactly, but did you guys ever have people bring their Nintendo DS's to school, and then you get like 4 kids in different ends of the room with little like huddles of kids around them, and then you're all texting each other in the little like, I think it was like Pitcho chat or something like that.
I had a DS, and like none of my friends had a DS,
Mhm.
so I was kind of on a fucking DS island.
I feel
Oh.
that.
Oh,
Sadly.
dude, that's tough.
Yeah,
See, I was the one kid
A lot
in
of
like, my
trauma
friend
from
group who
that.
didn't have a DS, so I was the opposite.
that's probably worse.
I don't know. I still have my Game Boy because I just wanted to play Pokemon. So that was it.
Yeah, that used to be the thing.
Mhm.
Doing the system link,
Yeah.
it's good times.
Did I still do it? I just pull out 2 of my old Game Boys. Got to trade the Pokemon to myself. It takes some time, but
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
you gotta do what you gotta do. It's like doing chores.
Dude, why do System Link when you can just enter the RuneScape world for free?
Yeah. Well, on the sociopath topic, I don't know. Like during high school, obviously there were weird kids. Like there's always gonna be weird kids. I don't remember any like this dude is a certified psychopath, but there was a kid that I lived next to growing up through like elementary school. And this dude was like, you know, he could have been a school shooter probably.
Wow.
He looked like Sid from Toy Story.
No.
He legit,
Like he saw that movie and
Legit
said,
did.
"That's what I
like
want
same
be."
haircut and everything.
Oh,
like,
no.
Facial structure.
Like Pale as a Ghost?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And my mom used to watch him after school because his mom was a teacher. I think we would just get into like fucking fist fights all the time. And he was just a fucking, like he would get enraged.
Did you ever go blow to blow with him?
I mean, not really. We
Okay.
just like, you know, the way you fight when you're in like
Yeah,
third
yeah,
or fourth
yeah.
grade. You
Yeah.
just kind of roll around and
Yeah.
shove and shit like that. So nothing crazy ever happened. I did break his PlayStation once
Respect.
on accident.
Okay.
Less respect.
It was like, you know how you like take the controllers and like you wire them up?
Yeah.
So he would do this thing where you would take the controller and it would be connected, but the wire would be, you know, all
He
wired
would
up.
play with it plugged in, but
Well, no,
wound
this is
up.
like when you take it out.
Okay, I
He
got
would
you.
just drop it onto the ground and let the controller unravel itself.
Okay.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were doing that, and I did it with my controller, and basically the force of it dragged the entire PlayStation,
Oh yeah.
smashed it onto the ground.
Oh
and
no.
it was broken.
So I was playing Lego Star Wars, the original Lego Star Wars, the pod racing chapter. Yeah, I got so frustrated at one point. I picked up my PS2 and slammed it.
Oh my
What?
God.
That PS2 still runs to this day.
Oh,
Almost
no.
16 years later.
See, and that's what I was shocked that it was even broken
Yeah.
because those things were fucking
oh, dude, they're
indestructible.
tanks. Yeah, they're great.
But not his. It just folded.
I have a crazy.
He
psycho
probably
story.
smashed his multiple times like you
Yeah,
did,
that'll
and
do
then
it.
mine was just the one that
Yeah. This is
broke
one
the
time.
camel's back.
Yep. So I had an English teacher who he actually was, his wife was Jeffrey Dahmer's English teacher in
Oh,
high school. And he was also a teacher at the school, and like he would come over to their house for tutoring.
Jesus.
And it was basically at the time where he like got his first kill or whatever. Like,
What?
when he was a kid, when he was just total freak.
Yikes.
And he even told us, he was like, yeah, we knew he was like incredibly off, and we knew he was like a very dangerous person, but they never thought he was going to do or did the things I did. Just nonsense.
Dude, that's spooky.
That is crazy. People are
Psychopaths,
crazy,
man.
man.
Zach, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What does the song I Love College mean to you?
Oh my God, dude. Asher Roth.
When the bass line hits
It's a fucking anthem.
at the beginning,
I still don't believe that we can call that a baseline hit, but that's okay. That's
it's
okay.
not like a bass, like ba 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 ba,
I
but
know.
it's
like,
like
the bass, you know.
it's
the
like
slap of the
down,
bass.
down, down.
I think what the listeners are hearing right now is the death of the English language. Like,
I
we're just
mean-
settling for bass, but there's probably a better word.
It's playing the bass, the instrument.
I don't think that there's a bass in that song.
There
I might be
definitely
wrong.
is.
Hey guys, do a Google search or some sort of like Bing search or something. Tell me if I'm wrong. Drop it in the comments.
I mean, it's not a real bass. Like, it's all, you know, produced on a computer. But,
Well, that's not real bass. That's
doesn't
just my
matter.
opinion. That's my opinion.
but yeah, that song fucking slaps.
So when did that
we-
come out? When you were in?
I was in high school.
Okay.
So it was probably like 2010 or 2011.
Mhm.
Because I remember we listened to it a lot, like going into college.
Mhm.
It was very popular my freshman year of college.
Oh
And
man.
Did you try and live out the song?
You know, some would say. Did I succeed? No.
Aw.
But I tried somewhat.
I definitely attempted and I think succeeded at living out that song, and my body is still feeling it.
Because you got pizza for $1 a slice.
Oh, I did.
Yep.
It was Wednesday nights, not Tuesdays like the song.
Gotcha.
But, hey, there are sometimes some limitations.
Yeah.
Now I don't know anywhere at OSU you can get $1
They
slice
fucking
pizza. That is
gouge you,
fucking
dude.
Dude, OU. It's a whole different world.
That's pretty sweet.
I'll tell you what, Athens, Ohio, Disneyland on crack. It is not a lie. You literally can watch meth heads feed raccoons, and it's not even like a crackhead pet. They're just find a random raccoon, feed them, and then they'll tell you a story about Jack Daniels. And it's not even a lie. This guy did that and told me about how Jack Daniels died because he forgot the combination to his safe because he was so drunk, began kicking it in order to try and get it open, ended up getting gangrene on his foot and died. It's a real story, man. Some crackhead told me that.
Oh my god.
That's just... And then at the same time, you have a bunch of students with so much money, all they do is drink, and it's Disneyland on crack.
Yeah, I went to OU once in college for some festival down there. I forget which one. They have so many.
Was it one of the street festivals or was it the big music festival?
The music festival.
Yeah, Numbers.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yep, it's gone now.
Is it?
They don't do it.
That makes sense.
My
it was like
freshman year.
EDM and shit.
Yep.
And that's not really a thing anymore.
That's the real bass drop.
So
yeah,
it really was. My freshman year though, they stopped allowing BYOB. And everyone was like, okay, this will probably be kind of lame. Right?
Yeah.
People still went. And they stopped camping. Because it used to be 2 days, and then everyone would go. It's literally BYOB. People would roll in with, like, multiple kegs and just camp out and smell like crap at the end of it. And then they're like, one day, no BYOB. And everyone stopped going. And they couldn't make money, so they shut down.
Yeah, it was a fun time. We stayed at some frat house because... My friend went to, I think he went to Toledo, but he was in a frat in Toledo. So we were staying with guys from that frat chapter in OU. So it was kind of weird. It was like we didn't know any of the fucking dudes who lived there, but he was just like, we're in the same frat.
That's dudes in college, though.
Yeah.
Just
You're
guys
right
being
there.
guys.
Just a bunch
dude.
of guys being dudes.
You talk shit for like 10 seconds, you're like, yeah, you won't stab me in my sleep. We'll be good.
Yeah, and they didn't, so I guess it worked out.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah.
That's good.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Look, I'm not saying ghosts are real or aren't real, but you'd be a very convincing ghost.
Thank
That's what
you.
I'm saying.
Well, Gucci Mane was cloned in prison.
You think so?
I think so.
Can you prove it?
I'd have to get close enough to him to do some DNA testing, but
This is a thing that people actually think.
yeah, because he went to prison, he was heavier Gucci, but then he came out like fucking shit brick house.
Couldn't have just.
They
been
don't
doing
think that he just
push-ups.
worked out in
They
prison
don't
because there
think,
was
dude.
nothing
They
to
think
fucking
cloning,
do.
dude.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
So Chuck, what do you think about Tupac?
I mean, out of all the conspiracy theories, I think he actually died, but there's the whole like population of people who are like, dude, he's in Cuba, just chilling.
You think he's in Cuba?
Some people are like he's in Cuba. I don't know where else they say, but Cuba's the one that I always hear.
I feel like Tupac and Michael Jackson are both scientists in Antarctica.
Wow.
Yeah,
Jesus.
they're working on some serious stuff down there.
I mean, how old? Michael Jackson would
Prince
have to be
might be
so
with them,
old
too.
by now. Even
Yeah.
Tupac would be pretty old by now.
Yeah, I mean they both would be at least in their 50s, right? If not, Michael might be in his
Tupac-
60s.
Yeah, I guess Tupac wouldn't be that old because he was like 90s.
90s, yeah.
And he was probably only in his 20s.
I think
at
he
that point.
died in 96, 97.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think he got shot for sure.
Michael Jackson would be old as fuck though.
Yeah.
Elvis, I'm pretty sure would be dead by now.
Oh yeah, he definitely would.
Yeah.
We've been robbed of seeing an old, wrinkly Michael Jackson.
Robbed?
Would you want to see that though?
I just want to see the loss of youth from his
Again?
face.
It was already sad. Like you just wanted it to get sadder.
Yes, very
I
much.
don't know.
So Chuck's a confirmed masochist.
I feel like Michael Jackson would be like super canceled by now if he was still around. Like he got out just in time where like he's canceled, but he's like not.
Yeah, because
Really
the big thing is
canceled.
like, oh, he's not here, he can't defend himself.
If he was here, he'd be getting fucking
He'd be
buried, right?
done,
so-
dude.
Basically, every person who has ever been linked to being diddled by
Yeah.
Michael Jackson I've never heard anyone say, yeah, he was actually creepy, he was actually bad, he actually touched me. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, they kind of felt bad for him, and he really was like a kid, but like, it was weird.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like deranged, sort of like pedophilia. It would never, like, no one says anything, no one who's like been linked to it, I've heard give like a credible accusation for it. But then you have that like Finding Neverland documentary.
Yeah.
Right.
And all the FBI information, and I'm not saying the FBI framed him. I'm saying the FBI framed him.
Oh,
They did come out with some weird stuff that they found,
Very
which
weird.
could have been framed. Could have totally been planted.
Could've been.
But
what kind of stuff? I didn't see it.
it was like he would like cut and paste like people's faces on like other people's bodies and stuff like that.
Well, they had
That I
they
can
had,
believe. I can see him. I can see that kind of behavior from him.
I'm pretty sure they even said like they had found like a sex dungeon in there, and
That
everything. And that's one
kind of
where
believe that.
people. That's the one where a lot of people who were like really close with Michael really pushed back on, and they're like, no, like we can't believe that that was actually him. I should say probably more people that knew Michael just don't engage with the conspiracy, but the ones who do, like that's a big one they push back on. But I don't know.
Maybe the sex dungeon was just for like property value.
It might have been. I mean, the rumor is he was chemically castrated as a child, though, by his dad, so that way he could keep hitting the high notes.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be. But he had kids.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Those are his kids.
Allegedly, dude.
You can't look at those kids.
Blanket
and say
did.
That's somebody else.
Hear me out though. If you do it, so let's say Michael hit puberty,
Yeah.
save the sperm, chemically castrate,
What's the point of castrating after puberty?
so that way his voice won't get any lower. Like
You'd
so
have to
you
prove
let
that
him
it
get
dipped
that
at one point and then went back, though.
It's dipped from his Jackson 5 days.
Well, if the Jacksons were saving sperm in the '80s, they were like well ahead of their time. They were like the PSP.
I'm not sure what the 80s, man. I think it might have been the 70s.
Ahead of their
That
time.
would have happened.
Ahead of their
Do
time.
you know the timeline of sperm saving technology?
I wish I did. I wish I did.
I can't imagine it's that complex. I feel like it's, you know.
I mean, if there was a
Ziploc
rumor about
baggie.
freezing Walt Disney's head whenever the fuck he died,
That's
That's a
fair.
good point.
you know,
That's a
they
good
would have
point.
been able to freeze sperm well before that.
Have you heard the Walt Disney Frozen theory?
That they made the movie Frozen
So it
that
throw
would be the
everyone
first
off.
search term when you search Walt Disney
But
Frozen.
we're smarter than that. We're truth seekers.
Yeah.
You know? We
The
seek
third,
nothing
the
but
third
the truth.
eye sees past the SEO optimization.
Dude, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Walt Disney's alive.
He's
I mean,
just in
not yet.
Antarctica,
He's in
being
Antarctica
a scientist,
with
dude.
Tupac and Michael Jackson.
So you think you go to
Prince
Antarctica?
potentially.
But what if you
potentially
just show
Prince.
up to Antarctica
That's what Frozen
and
means.
how are they going to stop
Yo!
you? How will they stop you from exposing all this if you just go to Antarctica?
Oh, they would get a duplicate to you because they can
Okay.
clone people, of course.
Oh, so they got the cloning machines
Yep.
over there. Okay.
So they're gonna clone you. They're gonna kill your clone, and then you're stuck there.
Why would they kill your clone?
Well, that's Tupac. So
Wait,
here's the
why
thing.
would they clone you and then kill your clone?
So this is the thing. The whole issue with Tupac's death, where people are like the tattoos are in the wrong place on his body, for the body where the photographs were taken at the crime scene.
Yeah.
That was the clone, and when they clone you, they can't clone the tattoos. It's just your raw body, so they have to redraw the tattoos, and they messed them up.
How would they? If it's that detailed of a process. Wait, so they clone you.
Look, man, you know.
And
come
then
on,
they
we
kill-
all know stupid people.
They clone you and then kill your clone, and
Yeah.
then what do they do with the body? Because
Well,
you're in
then-
Antarctica.
Well, that's so no. So you are in Antarctica. They've cloned you. They send your clone back to your home,
Yeah.
and then they kill the clone so everyone thinks that it was you.
Okay.
And then that clone gets buried as.
Why
if
don't
it
they
was
just
you.
kill you and keep the clone?
Because now you work for them.
Yep.
But the clone is a blank canvas. I feel like it's much easier.
No,
You can raise
because-
the clone as your own and say, "Hey, you work for us now."
But we haven't figured out how to make the clone brain intelligent enough yet.
Okay. So it's not that the clone has your
There's
memories
potential.
or anything. The clone is just like
He's just like a
fucking
meat-
It's a
He's
raw
like a
sack.
meat sack, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
meat sack.
Yep,
I got
can't
it.
do anything.
I'm on board.
Which, if you put a meat sack in certain situations, it's easy to kill him.
Well, if you do clone someone, because I believe, I'm gonna just say it.
Okay.
I think there's clones. I think somebody's been cloned.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that.
A full.
I
person.
think that someone has been cloned.
A full person, not just like right, because we've definitely cloned limbs.
Yeah.
And like cells and organs and
Right.
things like that.
I think that there's a person who has been cloned,
Okay.
and when they reach, the age of 18 or something, some scientist in like China or some shit is gonna come out and be like, "Hey, I fucking cloned myself, and
Wow.
I'm raising it as my child." And this is
Oh,
like,
that's so weird.
I think But-
imagine raising yourself.
that would be fucking weird.
That is weird.
But to clone someone, you have to start with them as a baby, right? So how would they
I would
clone
think, I would
Tupac?
I don't think we're just straight up. I mean, you're basically 3D printing a full human being,
Well-
or you're creating a new person.
Why do you think?
Yeah.
Why do
I
you think
guess
that
actually
Tupac
why.
became famous? It wasn't his raps. It was the government. They were
So it's
like,
because he was a clone.
they were like, we need to try this project out.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a guy famous for rapping.
So it was from day one.
have the
Fix
clone
was
on just
Yeah.
backup.
Okay.
No way, man. It's just that literally the day of the killing, they just swapped out Tupac for clone Tupac, and the meat sack got.
They also could have had a few clones laying around that resembled Tupac.
Just a few.
Yeah.
They were like, we gotta get rid of this guy.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe they have that for every like public figure. They just have
For all of them.
clones lying around. Because there's also a theory.
Now, do you know about it as a public figure? Because what about the people who like become famous?
No,
and
I don't
fade
think
away?
so.
So okay, so they're just making
Yeah.
if you reach a certain level.
Right.
Okay.
There was a theory about Avril
Elon's a
Lavigne
clone.
that was similar. Did you
Yeah.
guys ever hear that?
I kind of dude that one. I
Wait, what
just
is this?
love
What is
immediately.
this? What's happening?
It was that like Avril Lavigne at a certain point was like replaced
Yeah.
by. Well, the theory was just a lookalike, but I
Okay.
guess that could also
Okay.
be a clone.
It's essentially either that she
died in
went
a
away
car
or she
accident or
died.
something.
Yeah.
And then she
They
was like
replaced
at the
her.
height of her fame, and they were just like, we fucking need Avril Lavigne to keep being a
Whoa.
thing, and so they brought in like either a lookalike, clone, etc., to just take over.
Now,
Yeah.
was the clone a skater girl? Did
That
she
much is
say
not-
"see you later, girl"?
You know, that I can't say for sure. She
Okay.
definitely claims to be, but it's like, how would we really know?
It's all alleged.
It's also totally possible that Britney Spears is a clone.
No. No way.
I don't know. I think.
Free Britney, yeah.
Yeah.
I know she's technically free now, but let's free her again.
Leave Britney alone.
Leave Britney alone.
Britney's great.
Britney's not
Okay.
a clone.
I'll leave
Just
her
gotta let
alone.
thrive.
I'll make that commitment today to leave her alone.
I think
So-
Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, Britney Spears, people just gotta leave them alone for a
Yeah,
while.
I'd agree. I think Amanda Bynes make a comeback.
You think so?
I hope so.
I heard she
I
was
saw
the
something about her
craziest one,
being in a
actually.
movie soon.
That'd be fun.
So Zach, you have some spicy topics you'd like to bring to the table.
I have a few topics
This
jotted
man got
down on my
notes.
phone. Let me just read through, and I want you guys to see what's exciting. I got Formula One conspiracies.
Mm.
Nerds on the internet are pissing me off. Movies I've watched recently, and Charlie's fantasy team is ass.
Let's do the first two.
First two.
Yes, the
And then if
Formula
we
One
got time,
and the
we'll
nerds.
keep going.
Yeah. All right, so Formula One. I am a new-ish Formula One fan for about the past year or so.
Did you watch the Netflix?
I did. I started watching the Netflix series. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I enjoy the sport. Racing's fun. There's like, when you get into the history and everything, there's a bunch of crazy shit
Mm-hmm.
that has happened. Because it's kind of like, you know, it's like a world-class sport, but there's some shit that sounds like you're just making up like back alley rules.
Yeah.
And what is this even? Who's even like moderating this? You know.
Okay.
So yeah, something happened a couple weeks ago that got into some conspiracy territory. So basically, let me try to explain what you need to know. So there's 10 teams in Formula One,
Okay.
and there's 2 drivers on each team.
Oh shit. Okay.
Which makes it interesting because it's like you're driving for yourself. You want to be the number 1 driver at the end of the year. You
Yeah.
want to win every race you possibly can
Mhm.
because number 1, you get points for winning or finishing better, and number 2, you get more money the better that you do personally.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing where it's like there's teams, but they're not really teammates. and they can be used tactically to help each other out, but they can also just be like, I'm not gonna fucking do that, like fuck off. And then there's also some teams that have sister teams within Formula One.
Okay.
Which seems really weird because not every team does.
Is that more of a, like, if two teams have a mutual enemy, they're probably going to come together a little bit?
So it's like, so for example, there is, Red Bull is one of the biggest teams in Formula One. They're winning right now. They're like crushing everything. They have the best driver. Red Bull has a sister team, AlphaTauri. Okay. So they're both owned by basically the same company.
Okay.
So it's like, imagine two companies under the umbrella of one company, right? So they're two separate teams, but they're kind of not. So they're competing with each other, but at the same time, Red Bull can go to AlphaTauri and their drivers and be like, "Hey, can you fucking try to help us out here?"
Okay.
So it's a little sketchy because other teams that don't have that, like, you just have two drivers.
Yeah.
So
I'm tracking that.
something something happened a couple weeks ago at this race. Max Verstappen is the Red Bull driver. He's like the number one driver in the world.
Gotcha.
Really good.
Yep.
Lewis Hamilton is the driver for Mercedes, and he's been like the number one guy for a long time. It's probably the best driver, maybe of all time.
Okay.
And Mercedes and Red Bull, there's like a long history there, a lot of beef between the two of them. Like, they do not like each other.
Okay.
So in this race, Verstappen was in the lead. Hamilton is like catching him, and it looks like he's probably going to have a shot at winning the race, which is a big deal because Hamilton's kind of sucked this year. Like, he's been ass, mostly because their car just fucking sucks this year.
Gotcha.
But he's chasing him down. It looks like he's going to catch him. And a big thing with Formula One is pit stops and tires. So there's different tire compounds where a soft tire is faster than a medium tire is faster than a hard tire.
But then it's the durability of them in the race.
Exactly.
Yep.
A hard tire doesn't last as long. And so a lot of people are doing 2 pit stops. Hamilton's only doing 1 pit stop. So he's already done his pit stop. He's catching Max, and he's on a better tire right now.
Okay.
But Verstappen's going to have to pit to get on a different tire before the end of the race.
And Verstappen is currently leading, right?
He's leading the race.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once he makes his pit stop, he's going to go behind Hamilton, and then he's going to have to chase down Hamilton for the rest of the race.
So wait, so we have a Lightning McQueen situation.
Yeah.
Where Hamilton's pulling out because of the pit stop. He's got to catch up.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
good.
If you want to think about it in cars terms.
Because I know NASCAR, but
Right.
I don't follow Formula One. So.
It's similar. There's some differences. So basically what ends up happening, it's getting close to the time where Verstappen's going to have to make his pit stop. Hamilton's going to get the lead. Everybody's waiting for it. And then a driver on AlphaTauri, which is the sister team to Red Bull, he just kind of like stops in the middle of the fucking track. And another cool thing about Formula One, they just can play people's like team radios, like when they're talking to people on the pit wall and everything. They'll just like play that during the race.
Nice.
They'll bleep out cuss words and shit.
Yeah.
We're talking NFL mic'd up.
Yeah, NFL
Okay.
mic'd up, but like every driver is mic'd up
Sweet.
at all
Sweet.
times. It's fucking great. So he's like, "Hey, there's something wrong with the rear wheel. My shit's fucked." They're like, "Okay, come into the pits, make a stop." So he comes in, and they go in and they start fucking with like his safety belt and all this shit, and everyone's like, "What is going on? Like, this does not make any sense." They thought it was a tire issue.
Yeah.
So they send him back out there. As soon as he goes out, he's like, "No, like something's fucked with the car. Like that did not work. I can't go on." They're like, "You got to stop the car."
Yeah.
So he has to just stop the car in the middle of the track.
Okay.
When that happens, they have to come in. Sometimes they have to get a crane or get people to come in and push the car off the track.
Do they do like a caution car that like slows everyone down?
Yeah, exactly. So they do a safety car, which makes everyone slow down.
Yep.
So what that does effectively, if you make a pit stop under a safety car, instead of losing like 20 seconds, you're only losing about, I think, 10 to 15 seconds in this race.
Okay.
So as a result, Max Verstappen takes a pit stop, gets a really quick stop, and gets to keep the lead, and then he just cruises on to a victory. So the controversy was, it looked like this guy in the AlphaTauri had no fucking reason to stop.
Yeah.
There was nothing clearly wrong with his car. and there was a bunch of weirdness with the pit stop going on with it that people were like, did Red Bull basically tell him, hey, we need you to like park the car so we can get a safety car and let Max keep the lead?
So the AlphaTauri guys just coach up. They offered him $17.1 million.
Where's the door?
He went to the door where you need to stop.
Basically, yeah. And that's, I don't know how much weight there is to that particular theory. Because for one, Verstappen is like, you know, he's blowing everyone away. He didn't need to win the race. You know, obviously it's always nice.
Yeah.
But looking into this, it got me thinking about, because I've heard people talk about other like Formula One controversies and conspiracies over the years, and there's like legit shit that's happened.
Yeah.
So the one that I found was called Crashgate, and this was in like 2008, where a team had a teammate crash his car so that they could get a safety car, and at this time, because of differences in rules, it would benefit the driver to have a pit stop right before the safety car. Okay. So they made sure the other driver had his pit stop, and then had the guy go out and crash, get a safety car, and then his teammate was able to pass everyone else in the pit stop and go on to win the race. And then, like a year later, they let this guy go, and then he got pissed and was like, I'm going to fucking expose this shit. So he ratted them out. Yeah. Had like all the messages, all the emails and everything.
What? Oh, so he's the opposite of Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Wow.
He was like, I'm going to expose you guys. Went to the governing body and was like, hey, they like made me fucking crash my car in this race. And they were able to, they investigated it and proved it and like charged them with conspiracy.
That is wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But in the NFL, that's a 4-game suspension.
Yeah.
Right.
Deflategate, brother.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy to me that it's like a, you know, such a big worldwide sport and shit like that can go on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like in, right, soccer, definitely the global sport. And, I mean, there are teams, especially like in the Champions League or Europa, you got 2 legs to the knockout stage. One team wins the first leg. Say you win it like 1-0. Real tight game. That second leg, they're not playing. They are going to sit on that ball and waste all 90 minutes and just drown it out. And, like, there's definitely been some sketchy things that have happened in, like, world soccer before. Not to mention the fact that Qatar got a World Cup.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary. And then now, like, 18 of the people involved with that decision are in prison. It's nuts.
Like 18 of the people from FIFA?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, FIFA's got whole new people now. The whole way that they're deciding on who gets the next World Cups after it is completely different now because of Qatar. It's so corrupt.
Well, then you have, like, Lionel Messi with his tax evasion stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
Shakira.
like, yeah.
Dude, everyone hides their taxes in Spain.
I think the best thing about sports, at least to me, it may not be the best thing, but it's one of the most interesting things is, like, every sports season is like a TV show season where there's just so much drama that just like plays out.
Totally.
It's adequately named because it really is like a season. There's just so much. Yeah. Whether that's Urban Meyer at the brew house or whatever it is.
The Pine House. The Urban Meyer Pine House.
Like Plaxico Burress shooting himself in the leg.
Oh my goodness, that was wild.
It's like so much.
I mean, we must have been in elementary school. I think when that happened, and you come home from school, first thing you do, you turn on Sports Center.
Yeah, you do.
And I was like, what? This could happen? And immediately I was like, what a dumbass. But also, like, that's just such a freak incident.
Yeah.
He made it back, though.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I think it was better pre-shot.
I'm
pretty
probably.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that holds up.
Yeah.
That's a cold take.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll test that again this year with, what's his name, Brian Robinson. We'll see if he's better or worse pre-post shot.
Yeah, he got mugged.
At least the team's playing for him. Like, at training camp, I think Jonathan Allen is their, like, defensive captain / like, person of the team.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're playing for him. Like, I don't think he'd enjoy if we talked about it too much. Like, we're just going to go out there and ball out for him. And they won the first game.
So here's the crazy thing about that, right? So I use Sleeper for all my keeper leagues. and we were in the middle of a rookie
Sponsor.
draft.
Sleeper is a sponsor.
Sleeper, bring it on.
Promo
Sleeper,
code.
if you want to sponsor us, I'm in. We got you. Love your app. And the reason I love
Wait,
their app.
sponsorship code or promo code Formula E.
It's spelled UHN.
UHNN. But so the reason I love Sleeper so much is it's one of the only apps I actually have notifications on for. And so in the middle of that rookie draft, as I'm looking through potentially drafting him, I get the notification that he got shot.
Oh my god.
And I was like, nope, can't do it. Gonna go draft. I drafted someone for the Browns. And it was like 3 picks later, someone went and drafted him. And another 30 minutes later, after the draft is done, they put in the league chat. They're like, oh, he got shot. What did I do? And they're like freaking out. I was like, this is why you gotta have your notifications on. That's where I get all my fantasy.
Yeah.
Notification on Sleeper.
It's nice. They'll send a like a 12 o'clock message out for the 1 o'clock games on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Game day. Make sure to set your lineups, which has been a lifesaver for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I had a draft the day after he got shot, and it was the same thing where somebody picked him, and then in the chat it was like, he got shot yesterday.
Because like I don't watch ESPN anymore, so like I don't like get a bunch of sports news all the time. So I feel like a lot of other people probably are the same way. That if you're not looking for that information, you might miss it.
Yeah.
You know,
Sleeper sometimes I feel is a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I know they're sponsored. But sometimes
not
it's
yet.
just like I don't need a notification every time a
Yeah.
guy fucking jerks off, you know?
Yeah, because also too they'll send like Twitter notifications of like what Adam Schefter says.
Yeah.
I hate
And
Adam
it's
Schefter.
like-
I hope Schefter hears this one day. You're good.
It's
Not
just
a sponsor, not a friend of the pod.
Not a
Not
friend
a
of the
friend. I'll tell you what.
we fucking hate you, Adam Schefter.
Schefter, you can come
Enemy
on.
number one of the podcast is
Adam Schefter.
Hey, bring it down. Bring it down.
Sorry.
Mike's gonna jump. But
The cats are looking at me right now.
the cats are confused.
Persona non grata, Adam Schefter.
Adam Schefter, you're allowed to come on and try and defend yourself, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're a garbage person. You do not have morals.
Adam
And
Schefter, if that's even your name.
Can this be
Yeah.
every week? You guys
we find a new
taunt
enemy.
Adam Schefter to come on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so it. Dude, he's welcome to come. We'll take anyone.
Just
I'll take
start
Trump.
tweeting at him every time you post on the podcast feed.
Dude, if Trump wanted to come on, I'd let him talk.
I
I'd
wish
ask
Trump
him,
would
I'd
come
ask
on.
him harder questions than anyone besides Dave Portnoy.
Well, he'd leave. And then that'd be the end of the pod. But it'd be so fun.
Yeah, we give it a shot.
sure.
I mean, who cares?
Dude, we're
Even over Zoom, Mr. President.
going to tackle his ass on this Mar-a-Lago stuff.
We're not actually going to tackle the former president, just for the record, but it's metaphorical.
Actually, I heard this
I feel
joke.
like we do have to clarify that when it comes to a president.
This comedian was
Probably.
telling a
And a
joke that he's like, Trump would be the funniest president to see get executed. Like, get shot.
Yeah. Shane Gillis. It's a great. And the best part is that he's like, you know, so the crowd reacts. Some people are laughing, some people are booing. He's like, you know, here's the thing. I wrote that joke before Biden was president. And I don't want to steal his punchline, but you should go check him out. Shane Gillis, amazing comedian. Big
He's so
fans.
good. Oh my
Friend of the
god.
pod.
He's a
Definite friend of the podcast.
Definite friend of the pod. He doesn't know it yet. But
Adam
he's friend
Schefter
of the
is our Antichrist, and Shane Gillis is our savior.
you know what? That fits.
Yep.
That holds up.
Yep.
It's good. You got to make some enemies, you know? It's not just about making friends. You got to make some enemies.
If Adam Schefter is our enemy, and again, he's welcome anytime. Anytime. He can stay at my house.
So
I'll give him free place to stay. I'll feed him. But
I guess
don't
we
like what
could-
he stands for.
I guess we could classify Adam Schefter as like a nerd on the internet.
He's
a nerd.
definitely a nerd on
He's
the internet.
he's a
For
Michigan
sure.
man
Yeah.
with no sense
For
of
sure.
humor. At least Portnoy's funny.
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely.
Schefter just steals people's medical files and disrespects dead people in their
Oh, dude, yeah,
announcements.
that was some
Like,
shit.
He's garbage, and also he's
That
not.
was shit.
He doesn't have good takes.
No.
He copies anything that he gets even remotely right. He's just going like word for word off someone else, and he thinks he's the Woj of the NFL, and he's not. Woj is amazing at covering the NBA.
True.
Schefter's garbage. He knows he's garbage. He's just a little thief.
Well, the thing about Woj is he'll put out consistent reports throughout the year, but his prime time is always free agency for the NBA.
Dude, like the
and that's his
players
bread and
talk to
butter.
him. The players go to him to release information. Like he's got to be a great dude.
He's the man.
Like, watch the dude you want to go get a beer with. You know he's the perfect vibe. There's no way he has that good of connections without being just an amazing guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
Unlike Schefter.
Okay, so we had Formula One conspiracies. What was the second one?
Well, the nerds on the internet.
Yes. Let's continue with
The
this.
nerds have been getting to Zach lately.
I mean,
I want to hear more.
And it fucks me up because Zach, long time from the pod, you know, that energy of the
When he's
nerds
grieving,
getting
you're
to
grieving.
Zach. Yes, when he's grieving, I'm grieving.
so yeah, I guess I've been watching the Lord of the Rings show. Have you guys heard of it? Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for all the episodes to come out to binge it.
I've
It's
waited.
okay if you want to spoil something. It's fine.
I won't get into spoilers.
I've waited into the first episode. That's how far I am.
I'll
so.
just any listener right now. I do not care how you feel about spoilers. If something's spoiled, that's on you.
So I've been watching it. Watched the first 2 episodes.
I kind of
need
have
to
a
get
feeling
caught up.
where this one's going. But
Yeah.
anyways, go on.
I am a big. I would classify myself as a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Okay.
Not like a mega fan.
Yeah.
Do you know
But-
Elvish?
No, wait.
I do not know Elvish. I have seen.
You majored in Lord of the Rings, right?
I minored in
Minored.
Tolkien,
Yeah.
but I've seen the movies.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
extended editions multiple times.
That's the only.
I've
things
seen
I
all
can
the
watch
Hobbit
now.
movies only once because that's all you really need.
I haven't seen any of them all the way through.
Yeah.
Come to Zach's house for the Lord of the Rings marathon every
Black
year.
Friday.
And
Yeah.
if you're
marathon every year.
a long time listener, then you're invited. Otherwise, it's gonna cost.
I've
If
read
you're Adam Schefter, get the fuck out.
Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Schefter.
You can stay at Cook's house, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You can't come to the marathon.
You can stay at my house and I'll feed you and I'll take care of you. I'll be the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah.
But Cook's gonna say, "I got some friends to hang out with. You can do whatever you
Yup.
want. Here's a
Yeah,
PS2."
like you can fucking take care of yourself. Like,
and he's
you're
gonna
not gonna
feel,
tag around.
You're gonna feel fucking lonely, Adam Schefter.
No. Like you're not going out. We're not going to dinners. We're not going to Easton. No. But I've read the books. You know, I've read The Hobbit.
Okay.
I've read the 3 Lord of the Rings books. I haven't read the fucking Silmarillion, whatever the hell you
Yeah.
call it. All the other history
Because that's
anthologies
just kind
and
of
shit.
like a gloss or like an.
It's
index.
like supposed
like
to be a
fact book.
history book of
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the show. I like the show. The
Yeah.
show's good. The production value is fucking insane.
It's great.
Amazon
Okay.
spent like $1 billion on this show, and you can tell. Like,
Well, that's probably why their rocket just blew up the other day.
probably.
Yeah.
But the sets are amazing. The locations are fucking great. The actors are pretty good.
Mhm.
The story's good. It's fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like,
Like it's not gonna be
I'm grateful
bad.
for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
But these fucking nerds on the internet won't shut up about how it's not as good as the original movies, and it's changing things that were in the fucking history books of Middle Earth, and the elves have short hair when they should have long hair, and the dwarves don't have beards. I just don't fucking care. I'm just sick of it. You know what I mean?
You're trying to enjoy it.
I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just want to not worry about if the elves have crew cut haircuts. I don't fucking care.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
The books exist, and the movies and the TV show doesn't change that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about when it comes to like all the shit with Marvel movies lately. Everything that comes out, there's a million people on the internet talking about how it's shit
Yeah.
and it sucks. Star Wars the same way,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like just fucking shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I don't love Disney Star Wars. Like I love Star Wars, but I don't love what Disney does with everything. But
Sure.
I would rather have the Disney Star Wars than nothing.
Yeah,
I'd much rather have what we have right now than not have any new content. So
exactly. And
With-
people will say like, you know, the prequels or whatever ruined Star Wars.
I love the prequels.
It's like the shit is made up, guys.
Yeah, right.
None of this happened.
It's fantasy.
You can watch the first 3 movies
Mhm.
and just pretend like nothing else
That's
ever
it.
fucking happened. It does not affect your life.
So this is something that makes Game of Thrones, the books, A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin, so great. And he talks about why he writes the books how he does. You're not getting an objective narrator. You're getting a flawed narrator in every chapter. And because people would, so the show comes out, and even because I think the books only line up with season 5 of the show. Maybe
Yeah.
it's season 6.
Something around then they start freestyling.
Yep, they kind of go off on their own. And George has said, like, the last 2 books that he'll publish will not end the same way as the show.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, like, this is kind of like bullshit. Like, why are you changing stuff? And George Martin came out and was like, well, how do you know what you read in the books is what happened? Like, he writes it so that you have to kind of piece together what's actually happening. And it, like, you don't get that without Tolkien in the first place. Right. Tolkien wrote to be like, like, this is what's happening. But George Martin is like the ultimate plot armor of like, well, they might be lying to you.
Yeah. It's a good point. I haven't I don't know if people are saying the same thing about the new Game of Thrones show. I think that's getting more well received. But even with the last seasons, people were all up in arms about that. My point is, people are just taking this shit a little bit too seriously.
Totally, man. They need better friends.
Yeah.
They're all fucking lame. If you have good friends, you're not going to spend 20 hours on the internet shitting on fantasy.
For sure. And people like start talking shit about the actors in particular.
Yeah.
It's just doesn't need to happen. I think this shit all started with, maybe not all started, but got worse with Star Wars Episode 8. I think that's where it all went down.
Okay.
And fans started getting fucking ridiculous.
They have gotten ridiculous, right? Because there's always going to be pushback for things. People are like, look, it doesn't quite match the book. We're upset. But I think for the most part, people kind of move on pretty quickly. But yeah, you know what? Episode 8, I can see it being there. And that's also kind of where Twitter became what Twitter is now. Because Twitter was big, but it was always kind of second to Facebook for a long time. And then, what would that have been? 2016? 2018?
That was like 20, I think it was 18.
And at that point on, Twitter has become it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a presence in, like, the zeitgeist, you need to be on Twitter. You need to be active. And Reddit, too. Reddit's blown up. It went from being just nerds doing stuff on Reddit to now everyone is on Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, straight up.
The Reddit nerds are the worst.
Dude, they get after
Dude,
it.
Reddit nerds just bitch about everything. Because usually the most upvoted thing or comment is just a fucking bitch fest.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks.
And when you get... oh, Jesus, sorry.
You're good.
When you get all the upvotes, you think that your word is fucking gospel.
Yeah,
Like,
you think you're the
everyone
shit.
agrees with me.
Yeah.
I'm fucking right. And that gives you the power to wield your opinion everywhere.
So I heard something the other day. It's not fully verified, so if the listeners want to verify it, it'd be really cool. But allegedly, the internet is run by 7 people. And every 3 months, these 7 people get together. And they get keys out of a safe deposit box. And then they come together to make a digital key, which allows them to renew the internet every 3 months. So, and it's one of the most, whenever they have to all get together, it's one of the most secretive, most security rich environments for these people to get together to keep doing this. All I'm saying is maybe one day every leap year, every 4 years, February 29th, turn it on.
That would be something.
It's kind of like the Purge.
Yeah, that would be the Purge straight up.
One day every 4 years.
Do you think society
shut down
would
the
collapse after one day of no internet?
I'm curious. I kind of want to see how it goes. Because you're going to have a lot of people who are like, it's never coming back on. You have other people who are like, leave me the fuck alone, I don't care.
I'm just going to sit inside and read and go to bed.
It'd kind of be like Y2K.
Well, here's the thing, right? You can still use gaming consoles. Okay, you can't go online, but you can still play games. You can still watch TV.
Until you start to play a game, and then it's you need an update, and you can't install the fucking update.
This is why I keep my PS2.
Yeah.
See, I'd be great. I just sit down, play some PS2, maybe listen to some CDs, read a book. Your lights still come on. Your fridge is still working. I think it's fine. One day every 4 years, shut it down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I think I've become too dependent on the internet at this point. I tell my Alexa to turn off the lights.
If you want to hear the full episode, subscribe to our Patreon today. Get early access to every episode, gain exclusive access to Chuck and myself, and tons of other perks. See you soon.